as I ask you a question and you're answering it on the interview, I'm thinking of my next question if I can't pull something from your answer. All right, we're here with another podcast summit action taker. Listen, we did this masterclass where I taught for 3 hours. We only taught for 3 hours.
Yes, we were.
Teaching podcasting. And we dropped the tickets to the podcast summit, and all the winners in a particular category got a chance to come on the podcast, the actual podcast show. What level ticket did you get?
I got VIP.
You got VIP. I love it, man. Listen, VIP, she's like, I need them recordings. You get all the recordings. It's really, really dope. So super excited. Listen, go to podcastsummit.com. Get your tickets to the #1 premier podcast summit that has ever been summited. I'm telling you, it's going to be an experience. Got myself, Earn Your Leisure, Angela Yee, B. Simone, Megan, Brooks. Who else? We got a lot going on.
I see. I saw the lineup. Well, the beginnings of the lineup.
Oh, and there's so many people that I didn't even announce yet. So just stay tuned.
I'm excited.
All right, let's get this party started. So introduce yourself and what you do.
Well, I am Dr. Latricia Yvonne. I am by trade a chiropractor and a functional medicine chiropractor and a coach as well. I have my master's in counseling and psychology. And I'm starting to rebrand myself as a podcaster.
Let's go. I love it. Okay, Latricia, tell me about your I said it correctly, right?
Latricia,
right?
yes.
Latricia, okay. Tell me about the concept of the podcast.
Okay. The concept of my podcast is basically to build a community and unity at the same time. Especially, I grew up in Alabama, and you don't know what you don't know until you get out there, right? And when I got out there, I realized I didn't know a lot. Yeah. And
you realized you didn't know a lot about what?
About life. About
what was going on. Period.
Yeah, I didn't know a lot. I mean, I knew what I knew, but I didn't know what I didn't know. About finances.
What you knew wasn't enough?
No, it wasn't. Not for me.
You know a lot of stuff. Okay, you went to school where?
I went to school at Troy for my undergrad and my master's, and then I came here to go to Life University.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, so you graduated high school and went to school in Alabama. And then you came to Atlanta.
Right.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, keep going.
But just interacting with different people in life throughout my journey, I realized there's a lot of cracks in a lot of foundations, and that's because of the lack of knowledge. That's because of not having people to explain things to you. So I wanted to create a platform that was influential, empowering, but also gave you information, especially in our culture, like finances, mental health, things of that nature. Because I feel in the Black community, mental health has been frowned upon for a very long time. And that's one thing that is very important for us to experience.
You think mental health has been frowned upon?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
I don't know. I think maybe it's been not highlighted or not taken care of, but I don't think mental health has been frowned upon.
Well, I disagree with you on that.
Okay.
Just growing up in my environment, it was, well, a little backstory. I grew up in the church. My dad was a pastor. My grandmother was a pastor. And any issue that we had to pray about it. I don't care what it was. Pray about it.
For sure. You broke your arm.
That was the answer.
Pray about it.
And we live in the Bible Belt. Come on. That's the thing now. Pray about it. You break your arm, pray about it. God's going to heal it. And not saying that he's not, but he also gives people knowledge to help, enhance that healing.
Okay.
So, honestly, I experienced some things in my life that I needed to talk about. That was very traumatic, from being molested at a younger age and not knowing what to do with that. Being told that I couldn't be protected because we were Christians. You know what I mean? Like, well, I'm not going to go and defend you because God will handle it. Or I have a specific image to uphold. I have to be Christ-like. So that's where my thinking comes from when it comes to mental health being frowned upon. Like, there was no avenue presented to go out and be free to express yourself.
How old were you
when it started? Or
it was a long period?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
From what age to what age?
From the age of 5 to the last time I was molested was 15, and that was a JROTC instructor.
But the first person, who was it?
The first person was a family member.
A family member?
Mm-hmm.
Cousin? Dad?
No.
Uncle?
We had extended family.
Okay.
My grandmother had over 100 foster kids in her lifespan.
Oh no.
So we had like extended family everywhere, always.
Wow. And how did you deal? And I'm sorry, and if we get into like personal, but in terms of molestation, it comes in many forms.
Yeah.
What was yours?
Mine was the actual touch and the actual physical action of molestation. But it began with, of course, mental abuse.
Explain.
Without going into a lot of detail.
Let me ask this question. When you get on your podcast, are you going to go into a lot of detail?
Am I? Yeah.
I'm asking.
Of course. The name of my podcast is The Real Tea with Latricia E.
Okay. Well,
so I want... Okay. So, there was multiple people, and when you're younger, you're very influential. Like you're easy to be influenced, and just the daily things that were being said to me and actions that were being taken led me to think that was okay.
Got it. So it's not a okay, and maybe it starts out as a okay, get away from me, don't touch me, but eventually if someone manipulates you, it's more of a okay, this is how life is. Mm-hmm. This is what's supposed to happen.
Right.
Man, I never even thought about that like that.
Yeah.
I never thought about it because you can participate in the molestation, but you don't know that something's wrong.
Exactly.
Until you're older. Mm-hmm. Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. So your objective in the podcast obviously is to share your truths.
And bring awareness and provide resources and show different experiences in life.
Yeah.
In different people's lives.
By yourself or a co-host,
with other people,
interviews? What?
Interviews, people's lives, their stories, things of that nature.
Okay. How do you identify the perfect guest? Is it people that have been molested, people that are like, how do you identify who would be a good guest?
For the show?
Yeah.
I welcome anyone because we all have life experiences and we all have things that have shifted our lives.
Yeah. And
those stories need to be heard. They need to be told because you never know. There might be a 5-year-old little girl out there and she needs to know that it's not okay. You know, there may be a 30-year-old woman out there. She needs to know that she's not alone.
Yeah.
You know, there may be a 50-year-old man out there. He needs to know that he's not alone and his voice needs to be heard and he's just as important.
You said you majored in psychology?
I did. And that was why, to heal myself.
Wow. And it's so crazy that something that happened even 50 years ago can affect someone today.
Oh, absolutely. If we don't deal with the traumas, if we don't actively address what's going on, it shows up in our lives in so many ways, from personal relationships, careers, our attitudes, the way we interact with different people. It shows up.
Goodness gracious.
And one of the things about me, like, I am one of the nicest people you could probably ever meet in your life. But I have a resting bitch face. People think I'm a bitch. And until you speak to me, you will never know what I have. But people are judging me because of what I look like. But you don't know my story.
You think it's because you got green eyes?
Because I got green eyes.
Light skin and green eyes automatically makes you think she thinks she better than everybody. Okay, so you had a couple questions.
I did.
Because I'll go down the path of this conversation. Oh, for sure. Okay, what you got? How can I help you?
So I follow you, and I know you speak a lot about the journey to entrepreneurship and content creating, building with businesses and things of that nature. But within those messages, you are also dropping gems on mindset shifts and emotional intelligence and things like that. So, what are 3 shifts that would help to transform a person when it comes to business?
3 shifts?
Mindset shifts.
3 mindset shifts. One would be that you are not a victim, and which is like just super important, because people aren't going to succeed because they think they're a victim and everybody did something to them, or the reason they can't do it is because of this and that, and whether I had kids or I was divorced or I was molested, or you know what I mean, like and I think we all have it at some point in life. There's a reason why we can't do something. I think the first mindset shift is knowing that you're not a victim. Number 2, I believe, is the pursuit of being elite in an area. So the way a chiropractor, there's 2 chiropractors. One says, I'm a chiropractor, I want to make some money. There's another one that says, I want to be elite. I want to be the best person in this space. There's no one that's going to know more about becoming a chiropractor, or nobody's going to know more about the body and how it moves and the bones and how it shifts and tension. No one's going to know more about the body than me. And once you have that, I think it triggers something else in your mind. I don't just want to do it. I want to be the best in the world. My dad said something to me. He said, son, I don't know what you're going to do in your life, but good or bad, be the best at it. He said, if you are going to be a basketball player and you're going to be a point guard, be the best point guard that you know. Be the best point guard that exists. He said, if you are going to sell drugs, don't be a middleman. Don't be a runner. Be a boss. Go big. Be the best drug dealer that you know. So
what quantifies the best, and how do you get to the best?
Continue growth. Continue growth. I mean, being focused on becoming the best. So some people, they watch their interviews, like as you podcast, some people are going to watch their podcasts to see what clips they can take out to show social media, or they're going to review their highlights, and they're watching it to see how good they are. I'm watching mine to see how bad I am, so that I can improve. I'm going to do more interviews than anybody known to man. Not just while there's a microphone, but if we're out somewhere, I'm going to interview. If there's a server at a restaurant, I interview. There's a person at a cashier at Publix, interview. We're going to have a conversation question. If you stay around me long enough, you're going to get these questions. But I'm working on becoming a better communicator, becoming a better question asker. I'm not going to ask somebody, what books are you reading? Why? Because it's just not a quality question. And it's a question that every interviewer is going to ask. what are the things that changed your life? I want to ask a different question. So my objective, and I think it's a lifelong journey. Kobe Bryant, I believe, never thought he was the best. Why he always practiced. It was a game. He missed a game-winning shot. Now, this is one of the best basketball players to ever touch a basketball. He missed a game-winning shot, but then goes back into the gym after the game is over and does that same shot 1,000 times because he knows he's not the best, which made him the best. Continued improvement. Consistency, improvement, environment, absolutely.
Being intentional, things of that.
100%. Yep.
So, you haven't always been a podcaster. Actually, you tell your story about working at the Cheesecake Factory often. What was it that helped you to make that shift? To make that leap, rather?
What was it that helped me make what leap?
From going from the Cheesecake Factory to believing in yourself to having the Social Proof podcast.
Oh yeah, it wasn't a leap. It was like a I don't know, a step maybe. You know what I mean? So when I started working at the Cheesecake Factory, my first lesson was in consistency because I had never held a job longer than 10 months. So I told myself, I'm going to stay here for at least a year. I wound up being there for 6 years, which was cool because it taught me consistency. I had to learn that I can't be an entrepreneur in everything. Like I have to brand myself as something and stay in a lane and focus. And then piece by piece, bit by bit, it was a whole evolution. We don't have time to go through the whole story, but it was a constant evolution. Still evolving. You know what I mean? So people are like, yo, how'd you make the leap from interviews to a national stage or international stage or a syndicated show? I don't have those things yet, but if it happens, it wasn't because there was a leap. It was just a constant improving.
So you kept moving.
Yeah.
You kept doing.
Absolutely.
Consistency key. In that, I know you talk about growing and you want to be the best and you're going to be the best. You're building a legacy. How far does that go? Like, how do you know how to maneuver who you are? Who are you?
You're going to watch this interview.
And I'm going to be so pissed the fuck off at myself.
But this is the progress. This is the improvement.
Who are you? Are we really posting this?
Yeah, what? They're watching it right now.
I'm so sorry, y'all. It's better. But who are you? No, that's not what I want to ask. What I want to know is what characteristics did you grow in order to be able to dream this big and beyond?
What characteristics did I develop to be able to grow this big and beyond? Just core characteristics of consistency, doing what I say I'm going to do. You know what I mean? Like if I say I'm going to record and put out an episode every single week, the hard part is to do what you say you're going to do forever. I'm dedicated to forever putting out an episode every single week, forever, for the rest of my life. That's tough. It's not hard putting the episode out. It's hard being consistent enough to actually do it. And that's where the elite live. They're consistent. They don't stop. So just doing what I say I'm going to do. Like if I say I'm going to be on time, I'm going to be on time. If I'm saying I'm going to be there at 12, my objective is to be there at 12. And if I'm there at 12:03, I'm pissed. So I'm a stickler for time. A couple minutes late to a meeting, and I'm like, hey guys, what's going on?
So you were already looking at me sideways.
Oh no, that was a miscommunication. It was all good. I mean, we were still here working anyway. So
okay, so do you suffer from or do you deal with issues like imposter syndrome? Do you ever question yourself, like, your ability.
That word just came out, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah, I think they just invented that one. Imposter syndrome, meaning you don't feel like you deserve what you have, correct?
Or you're not good enough, or you're not prepared to move forward in a certain area.
I think we all deal with that, but I just know I am. Yeah, I know that everything is going to be okay. You know what I mean? You've survived 100% of your bad situations.
Yep.
And I just have that understanding. No matter how bad things get, eventually it'll be okay. It sounds like kind of elementary, but we'll be fine. I'm about to invest in something right now, and I'm using all my money. I mean, all my money, to the point where Zelle is your paycheck might. No, but I'm about to invest heavily in an idea, and some of the chips are stacked against me.
And you're still doing it.
But I know if I go after it and it works, it will be amazing. If I go after it and it doesn't work, we'll be okay.
It's an experience. You learn from it.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
It's not really about the win or the loss for me. It's about the game itself. At the end of a game, like if I go to LA Fitness and I play basketball, even if I lose, I don't go off the court like, oh my gosh, I lost. And I'm not upset. I'm like, whoa, that was a good game. We could have won. I need to do this and this and, this and that to improve.
So you go back and you analyze your actions and your behaviors.
I'm just
consistently build upon that.
I'm just not emotionally tied to any outcome. Yo, listen, God has protected me from so much stuff that I don't deserve, and I don't even understand how I'm in God's good graces out of all the weird stuff and disappointing things I've done in my life. But I just continue to be protected. So I just believe that everything is going to be okay.
So it's a belief.
Yeah, there it is.
Love it.
Good. This was a good session, right?
Yeah, it was
How was
great.
it? Was it good?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
It was good. And it was more than the 15 minutes, I think. I'm sure. I don't know. The clock just stopped, but it's okay, Zell. You're my guy. Don't worry about it. So real quick, give me one or two things that you want to take away from the podcast summit, what you're looking to take away and be better at.
Formulating questions.
Yes. I'm going to do a whole workshop on that.
Yes, and I would be at front and center.
I got you. Yes.
Formulating questions and just getting comfortable with being in the space and meeting new people, things of that nature.
Good. You want to do an exercise real quick?
Sure.
Okay, cool. You know what? How I probably got better at questions?
How?
Is in college there's a game called Questions. Have you ever played it?
No.
It's a drinking game where I've got to ask you a question and you've got to ask me a question and I've got to ask you a question. We can't ask each other the same question. Whoever stops asking questions has to take a shot.
Okay. So what's the penalty? Take a shot of water.
Take a shot of water. It's a kid-friendly game. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. What's your favorite color?
I have to answer the questions?
Take a shot. No, You can't answer the question. You have to ask a question after I ask the question. Then I have to ask. So whoever pauses or stops loses.
Okay.
You ready?
Got it.
Okay. What color is your hair? You lost. Yo, you would be drunk right now. You would have had a whole bottle of Hennessy.
Okay, so I'm a very analytical person, so I have to think about things.
Don't think about the answer.
All right.
Think about a question. While I'm asking a question, my question is of no relevance. While I'm asking a question, you should be thinking about your next question.
What color is your hat?
What color is your braids?
Where'd you get your shoes?
Where'd you go to school?
How old are you?
How long did it take you to get dressed this morning?
Are you married?
What time did you wake up?
How many kids do you have?
What was the name of your last boyfriend?
What's your favorite place
to
go eat? Do you like men?
You can't ask me the same question. Take another shot. Listen, y'all, we about to do this live at the podcast summit, I think. We're going to play questions, and this will help you start formulating your question. And I'm telling you, and literally I just thought about this. That really prepared me for asking questions, because as I ask you a question and you're answering it on the interview, I'm thinking of my next question if I can't pull something from your answer. So my first objective is to pull something from your answer. Like as you're answering a question, okay, so tell me about your childhood and all the things, and you're telling me about your trauma, right? Mm-hmm. So I have to have a question prepared that pairs with the question I just asked you. But my first objective is to pull a question from your answer. So as you're saying, yo, I was molested at 5. My next question could have been, well, how does molestation affect you now? Right? That would be my backup question.
Right.
I say, well, so tell me about your trauma as a child. And you're telling me. If I can't pull something from there, my next question is, well, how does that affect you as an adult? But you're telling me some very important stuff like, yo, it was someone in the family. Ooh, I got something I could pull. What family member? Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it be tragic if it was your brother?
Yes.
Wouldn't it be weird if it was your dad?
Yeah.
Or what if it was like a prominent person of the church and your parents was your dad was the armor bearer for the pastor, and your dad found out that the pastor molested you, but he was too afraid to say something to the pastor. Now you're stuck. Now we got a good interview.
That's great.
Yeah. We got a good interview now. So I'm looking for the questions from your answer, but I got to keep one backed up. And I learned that from getting drunk with my friends in college. So, so tell everybody how they can connect with you, and tell them to be at the summit, man, July 30th and 31st.
Y'all
podcast
come
summit.
and join us at the summit on July 30th through the 31st. We are going to have a great time. I will be there front and center, learning as a student. And you can follow me on Instagram, The Real Tea with Dr. Latricia E, or Dr. Latricia Yvonne on Instagram as well. My website is drlatriciayvonne.com or phoenixwellnessandrehab.com.
I love it, man. Make sure y'all rock with her. If you're in the metro Atlanta area, right? You're in the metro Atlanta area, she will come to you and crack your back.
Concierge services.
Concierge services, okay? So listen, man, go to www.podcastsummit.com or thepodcastsummit.com. We got both domains. It's okay. Get your tickets today. You can get general admission, VIP, all-star. We got so many different levels that you can come in. Anyone, if you are just starting your podcast, this is for you. If you haven't started your podcast, but you want to, this is for you. If you don't want to start a podcast and you just want to be a better content creator, this is for you. If you want to connect with other people, think about this. We are putting together a room full of masters in their craft, but there will be thousands of people who have access to other people. I mean, they're all podcasters. I mean, if you get on enough of these podcasts, start connecting with Latricia and all these other people that's going to be there, man, that'll be great exposure for your business. So whatever your situation is, you need to be at Podcast Summit 2023, okay? Make sure y'all like, subscribe to Social Brew Podcast, like and subscribe to the
Real Tea with Dr. Latricia E.
Real Tea with Dr. Latricia E. podcast. All right, I'll see y'all at the summit. Peace. If you like the video that you just watched, click this one. You're going to like this one, maybe even more. Click it right now.